Stark.
Here.
Stendor.
Here.
Reamer.
Here.
Busse.
Here, online.
Thank you. Anderson.
Here.
Vitek.
Here.
Huber. Oh, excused. Schultz.
Here.
Ader.
Here.
Murdig.
Here.
Ellefson.
Here.
Trudeau excused. Negro. Laura Negro. Absent. Metzinger excused. Campbell.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
Kinney.
Here.
Hufall.
Here.
Fifteen present.
Okay, we'll have a moment of silence. Okay, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need a motion to approve the agenda. Liz?
Frantic, so moved.
Mike Stark, second.
Okay, motion by Liz, seconded by Mike Stark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. CDBG public hearing. Okay, we need a motion to go into the hearing.
I'll make a motion that we go into public hearing.
Motion by Clarence. Motion by Ron. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We're now in the public hearing. Is there anyone? Yes. If. Yep.
Use for public comments. That's helpful. Thank you. Hi, I am Kelly Westland. I work for the University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension based in Bayfield County as the housing educator. I just wanted to encourage you folks to support this application for CDBG CV block funds. The project is one that I think is desperately needed in the region. I think you're all familiar with the shelter on the west side of town. And the first phase has been complete and it's been able to help folks get back on their feet with pretty limited term stays. But there is still a need for something that's a little bit longer term, transitional housing situation. And this is a project that has been in the works for some time, but the second phase of this development would apply to the two-story building on the western end of the hotel where the shelter is currently located. It would be a renovation of a 12-unit building, 11 of which would be single occupancy short-term residences. Well, I say short-term in that they're less than 2 years, not permanent, but they are still fairly long-term. And one of those units would be converted into laundry facilities for folks that are making use of that shelter. And currently, Northwest CSA, which serves several counties in Northwest Wisconsin, doesn't have another transitional housing option within Ashland or Bayfield counties. And it's just something that there is a lot of need yet to serve folks who might need a little bit longer to kind of sort out whatever life situation has led them into homelessness and give them an opportunity to find a more permanent situation coming out of the shelter. We have a scope of work for the building. The building is already in ownership by Northwest CSA. And we are also exploring some additional layers like solar energy to be incorporated there. I guess that all I can say is that housing affordability in the region has been exceeding the ability of the median income earner here to be able to procure, stable shelter. It's getting increasingly difficult. Rents are going up. and anything that we can do to help make sure that folks don't fall through the cracks and have an option for stable living to improve their life situations in the short term is, I think, a net benefit to our community. So thank you for your consideration, and I hope that you will be supportive.
Thank you, Kelly. Is there anyone else from the public? Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to the agenda. If anybody else from the public comes in and they want to speak to this topic, we'll certainly come back to it. Okay. Do we need to close it?
No, we're going to keep the hearing open in case part of the public comes in, somebody from the public comes in and wants to speak. So maybe we could get a motion to suspend it until, unless there's to allow us to move on with the agenda.
This is Pat. I'll make a motion to suspend the public hearing.
Oh, Sheldon?
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Sheldon Johnson with Northwest Regional Planning Commission. If I can just take a few minutes, the public hearing that was identified in the newspaper there's a couple of items that we must go through in order for the public hearing to be satisfied as part of the application process. I'm not sure if you're going to go back to it later, but if I could just, you can indulge me for about 4 minutes and I'll just hit the highlight points so that the documentation that's necessary for the application is complete. If that's okay, Mr. Chair?
Yes. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, so the identification of potential funding available, there's $10 million available in this COVID CV round. This is round 4 that the state of Wisconsin has made available, and that's the funding sources that the project is potentially going after. So the eligible CDBG activities primarily are for renovation of existing facilities, for units, preferably of units 3 or more. That's for the housing side, and they have a public facilities side, which is the component part that Ashland County is actually looking to seek funding through. The presentation of identified community development and housing needs. We know that public facility needs are necessary and warranted across all communities in Northwest Wisconsin, but particularly as it relates to housing projects. Kelly Westland provided a great overview of this project, so I think that encapsulated that project. So the presentation of activities proposed, again, Kelly covered that in good detail, so I won't spend time on that. The review of any potential residential, non-residential displacement. Currently, the facility that's being looked at as part of the application is vacant, so there would be no need for displacement of existing residents to make repairs to the home. You are later in the agenda including the RADRAP. That's the residential displacement methodology. So that will be included as part of the minutes of the meeting. And then lastly, the citizen input regarding development of the housing needs. You've covered that. And as you said, you'd adjourn for, or not adjourn, but keep it open if there's any further comments. So I just wanted to make those points known just to make sure that we suffice the application details. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Is there anybody else online from the public? Go ahead.
I'm Jeff Earhart from the town of Morris.
Yes,
just-
Jeff, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to find out what you were planning to do with this community development block grant and see how the county is going to spread this around the county. That would be my comments at this point.
Okay, thank you. We need a motion to suspend.
This is Pat. I'll make a motion to suspend the public hearing.
Motion by Pat, Second by Ron. Any discussion? All those in favor to suspend, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Okay, citizen public participation plan.
So the public participation plan is in the packet here. Heather, can you please put it on the screen? Let everybody see it, and then after this, there'll be a resolution adopting this plan.
Mike Stark, I make a motion to approve resolution R0420241470. Resolution to adopt citizen participation plan.
Marty VTEX, I'll second
We're still on the plan.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we'll just hold that one thought for a moment. We're on A, citizen public participation
Oh,
plan.
I thought you went to the resolution.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So-
And that's what's up on the board. Just
any questions?
any questions on that? The screen's not on, right?
Yeah, there's something wrong with
Okay.
Heather, can you just scroll down a little bit so it's on the video for people to be able to read in the public? No, because resolutions.
Liz?
This is Liz Franek. Just a question about the LMI, the low to moderate income source for the committee member. Would they be able to reach out to people that are currently being served by this program? Or other people that are in need of housing? Because that would be a great point to see, you know, where they could need the help. Thank you.
Kelly?
Sorry, Liz, I just want to make sure that I understand your question. Are you asking if this transitional shelter will serve folks beyond people that are already a part of the shelter program? Or?
Just the person that'll be on that committee, they will be somebody that would be able to have a say in what you know, what kind of needs the homeless need
Sure.
and the people that are looking for housing.
Thanks. I was just gonna say that Sheldon may be able to speak to this better, but I know that this is one of the requirements for any of the CDBG funding sources is that the entity applying for these funds have a process in place for public input. So presumably, yes, I'm not sure, I haven't read through this one to see how yours is written, but if it's establishing a committee as part of the citizen participation plan, then I would presume that there is opportunity for input from folks at the shelter.
Yeah, the person that would be the LMI, the low to moderate income source in the committee. I think it would be helpful to the public that it would be somebody that has an insight. They, you know, they're on their feet going to housing, or they're currently looking for housing, so they can educate the public about the plight.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, typically these do involve people with lived experience or with representatives from organizations that assist those folks, like Northwest Community Services Agency.
Thank you.
Thank you. If everybody's been able to read the plan, we have the resolution R042024-1470, resolution to adopt a citizen participation plan. So now is the time for a motion.
Okay, this is Mike Stark, and I'll make a motion to approve resolution R042024-1470 as submitted.
Okay, motion by Mike, is there a second?
Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
Motion seconded by Marty Vitek. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, approval of Wisconsin Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan.
Okay, this is the rad wrap that Sheldon was talking about online. So if people want to look at this. This follows federal housing law. But nobody will, as Kelly Weston said, nobody's gonna be displaced by this project because the unit's already empty.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan.
Brad Ray, so moved.
Motion by Brad, second.
Blake Ellison will second.
Second by Blake. Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. D, Resolution RO 2024-1471, authorizing a resolution to submit a Community Development Block Grant CDBG application.
So this is something we had done a few months ago, but we're doing it in a different form and in the public hearing. So the public can see what's going, so it's part of everything is done together. And what CDBG CV is coronavirus. CDBG block grant. So it's not subject to the same things as other CDBG conditions as other CDBG grants.
I'll make a motion that we authorize submitting a community development block grant application.
Motion by Clarence. Is there a second?
Ron will second.
Second by Ron. Questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. E, Resolution RO 2024-1472, authorizing a resolution to commit match funds and certification of match funds secured.
So the county will be contributing $0 to this. So when the motion's made, if somebody could make that as part of the motion, so the line that's blank can be filled in with 0.
Is-
Northwest Community Services Agency can contribute as much as they want to the project. And that would count as a matching funds.
Brad Ray to move that resolution R 04-2024-1472, authorizing to commit $0 of matching funds.
Okay, motion's made by Ray, second. Liz,
Franek, second.
second by Liz. Any questions? Blake,
Just so I'm clear now, so the funding is coming from the federal government for 50%, and then the other 50% is from the Northwest Community Services Agency?
No, the CDBG CV is eligible for up to 100%.
Okay, so the 100% financing is coming all from that grant?
Right. Yeah, unlike other CDBG grants require a 50% match.
other questions? Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried. F, Resolution RO 4-2024-1473, policy to prohibit the use of excessive force and to enforce applicable state and local laws prohibiting physically barring entrances, exits for nonviolent civil rights demonstrations. Motion. Mr. Pufall?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dick, second. Ron? Ron seconds. Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. G, approval of budget. Detailed itemized project costs.
So I would ask that you approve the higher end amount because the way construction goes, we don't know what it's going to cost. But this is an estimate to put together by the Northwest CSA's architects.
Mike,
I'll make a motion to approve the budgets of $1,259,851.
okay, motion made by Mike. Marty? Marty Vitek, I'll second it. Second by Marty. Questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution R 4 two zero two four 1474, resolution to adopt the Fair Housing Ordinance.
So this is committing to adopting fair housing statutes under Wisconsin law.
Their motion, Marty?
This is Marty Vitek. I'll make the motion to adopt that resolution.
Motion by Marty, second.
Brad. Brad Ray, second.
Second by Brad. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ordinance zero, is that an O or a zero?
0.
Okay,
Oh, it's an O, you're correct.
that's an O.
O for ordinance.
Ordinance 4 two zero two four 126 Fair Housing Ordinance.
And this would be the official ordinance.
Brad Ray, motion to approve the ordinance.
Motion by Brad, second.
Mike Stark, second.
Second by Mike. Questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Regular agenda. Approval of county, I'm sorry. Oh,
No, I think we should keep the public hearing.
I think
open.
so, yeah.
okay.
Keep it. We're gonna keep the public hearing open until the end in case somebody from the public wants to still say something. And then before we adjourn, we'll make an motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Okay. Okay, we need approval of county board minutes from April 16th, 2024.
Brad Ray approved the minutes.
Motion by Brad. Second.
Mike Stark, second.
Sorry. Second by Gary Ader. Comments?
Under the public comments, it's left blank there. Could we add, there were no public comments? So if you scroll down to public comments.
I don't believe we had any public comments.
I know, I was just suggesting that we could add that there were no public comments, so we know that versus perhaps an omission.
Okay,
I'll accept that as a friendly amendment.
okay. Motion made and second to amend the minutes to show no public comments. Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor of approving the minutes from April 16th, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Approval of committee assignments. Okay, Heather? Okay, so everybody has a sheet, just, I'll say a couple of things. There is no perfect
solution here, but we tried to put everyone on two committees and then taking into account that we have two districts still open, and having some of those folks on the committee.
So, yeah, so everybody got two of their requests. Except for Supervisor Trudeau, who asked to be on the zoning committee. And because he's a builder, I felt he had a conflict of interest to be, and couldn't be on zoning.
Any comments? Go, Laura, Supervisor Negro.
So you guys pulled me off of finance and you put Brad on there, so Brad's on finance and he's on executive committee? Nothing against you in particular, but doubling up on these committees?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so instead of having more people to be involved with the two committees that kind of lead the group, it makes more sense to double people up on those two committees?
The easy question is yes. I mean, it's not easy, but it's yes.
Okay, you guys have at her.
Other questions? We did a motion. Oh. We will, when everyone's done looking or have any other questions, we will need a motion. Clarence?
I'll make a motion that we approve the committee assignments as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Gary. The motion's been made and seconded to approve committee assignments. Questions? Last time? Liz?
For Land Information Council, it does not look like any county board member is on there. Is
Yeah,
that
correct.
correct?
By
Okay,
by ordinance, it's not, there's no county board member on it.
okay, thank you.
What ended up happening with the county tribal committee?
Chairman Blanchard has not, given his nominations yet. So that committee will be appointed when Chairman Blanchard tells us who he'd like.
Any other questions? Motion's been made and seconded. Last call. Oh, Pat? I'm looking at this. So ag and extension and land conservation, there needs to be, and maybe there is, I'm just scanning through this, but there needs to be two.
George Bousset in District 20.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting time for future meetings. Now, one thing I want to say before we do this kind of a meeting is the committees can set the time that works for the committees. As each committee gets together, you can decide whenever you want to have your time, your meetings. So that's not so much of an issue, but the county board meetings is a thing we should discuss. There's a couple of people who have already said, they like it not at 9 o'clock because of working. So that makes sense. There's some people who said they like 9 o'clock because then they have something to do the rest of the day. So it's really up to the board. The majority of the board. Now, somebody last meeting also suggested having afternoon meetings in the summer, having morning meetings in the winter, but whatever the majority of the board wants, it's kind of open for discussion. What is everybody's preference? Pat?
Well, my preference is 9 o'clock, and my personal feeling is the meeting time for the board at least should be set prior to election so people can decide if they're going to run or not. You know, then you know what your schedule is. Marty Vitek, I think last time mentioned he prefers to stay with 9. And, you know, since I've joined the retired crowd, and many of us are, I want to say to those of you who are still working, we're happy to be retired. But you know, I think all of us have worked long hours, you know, through our lives, and we put off doing things until we're retired. And most of the people I know are much busier retired than when they were working. And, you know, 9 o'clock, I do have the rest of the day, especially for the things I like to do, which are mostly outdoors, and I can go do them, in part because a lot of them aren't right here in town. And so we value our time too. And the 9 o'clock is nice. And you know, we get to the age where we're at, we don't know how many more good days we have left and how long we can do things. So if anyone thinks that, you know, we are, you know, got nothing else to do, that's probably further from the truth for all of us that are retired. So we do value our time, and I'm going to speak up and say I still prefer the 9.
Just 1 second. George?
Yeah, and my suggestion had been morning meetings on the odd numbered months, afternoon meetings on the even numbered months. I think I'd prefer that.
Okay, thank you, George. Mike?
I'm in favor of the 9 a.m. meetings. The later meetings sometimes, because of ferry schedule, I'm the only one that's got ferry schedule, have to stay overnight. And so I'm in favor of the 9 o'clock meetings.
Not that, oh, Liz, go ahead.
For my work schedule, you know, I can vary it. So I'm sympathetic to Ellefson because he cannot change his work schedule. And anybody else that would potentially run, you know, that would be harmful to them. But I'm thinking for public hearings, I'm hearing the consensus of the public to have a later meeting, not at 2 o'clock either. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mike?
We just had a public hearing at 2 o'clock and nobody showed up. So.
Marty?
I would prefer 9 o'clock in the morning. If I was gonna make any concession, though, it would be to have early afternoon and winter time. You know, because I hate driving in the dark. I'm a morning person, and I'd have them at 5:30 in the morning if I could, but the rest of you probably wouldn't go along with that.
Maybe we
Well-
could have 6 o'clock meetings then, and then Blake could come before he goes to work.
You know, I don't want this to be about me, so I think as long as you guys are okay, if I zoom in and there's no issues on that, I think if we were to take a vote based on what I'm seeing in here, I'm not gonna win this vote today, so. But on the committee level, I am gonna argue a little harder, because I don't have 3 hours to spend in the morning, Mr. Kinney, on finance committee meetings, so those may change, but for now, the county board meeting, I'm not gonna argue.
Well, is there a motion?
Ron, make a motion
Yeah,
that we keep it at 9 o'clock.
Mike?
Second.
Okay, no, hold on. Motion's been made and second to keep at 9 o'clock for the county board meetings, knowing the committees can set their schedules as they please. Comments, Pat?
Pat, going back to George would say he suggested alternating. I taught for a living, and one thing I found out fairly quickly is that when students had schedules where the time and alternated during the day, it's amazing how hard it was for people to keep track of. You think it'd be easy, but it just was amazing, problematic. But what, Marty mentioned, in the winter, I don't snowmobile and that sort of stuff, but in the winter, a meeting, say early afternoon at 1 or something, and so maybe November through March, we meet at 1 on the day because most of us do less outside. I know there's guys that ice fish, but maybe 1 o'clock in the winter and the 9, the rest might work.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second on the floor to keep the county board meetings at least this time. Laura, go ahead.
If we can just pick a time and stick with the time,
Okay.
I guess then I'm not trying to shuffle things around.
Okay.
I just had a staff issue before this 2 o'clock one. That's why I was late. So anytime you do this during the day, I could possibly have this other stuff go on. And so there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay. Okay, so motion been made and seconded to keep the county board meetings at 9 o'clock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Administrator reports.
Okay, I just got a few things. One, I want to remind everybody about the COWS workshop. That's the county officials workshop. They are going on right now. Those of you who are not able to go to one of the in-person sessions, you can find the 2020 ones on the WCA website, and you can watch the Zoom of that. But I do encourage everybody to at least watch the Zoom video. Again, the WCA conference is in La Crosse this year, September 22nd to the 24th. New members get free admission to the convention. So anybody who would like to go, please let myself or Clerk Sheedy know as soon as possible. We'll be making room reservations as soon as the block opens up, which should be in about a month. Resolutions to submit to the WCA or to adopt as official WCA position are due June 24th. So if anybody has something they want WCA to adopt to officially lobby the legislature for, we would need to take up that resolution on the county board by that point to submit it. And then one final note, the one thing that we've been following on finance committee is sales tax. It's been going up and up and up all year. We're what, 30% up. The last sales tax numbers were actually $12,000 down from last year. So our streak is broken, but we're still up about 30% for the year. And those were the numbers from February of this year, which I seem to remember was a little weird out there. Some weekends were really busy, some were really slow. So just give you that update. That's all I got for now. Oh, I think Heather has something to add.
I just want to clarify, if you're signing up for that COWS seminar, which is Thursday, May 9th at Flat Creek Lodge in Hayward, I can sign you up tomorrow. So let me know today if you want to sign up for that seminar.
Oh, sorry. Good thing Dan's got quick hands. We still need a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Ron,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the public hearing.
Marty?
Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and second to adjourn the public hearing for CDBG. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. County Board Supervisors, anything from anyone? Mr. A?
I believe to pull something off the table, we would need it on the agenda still. So can we put Max's presentation on the next agenda to cover that?
Yeah, I'll talk to him about that, make sure he can do that.
Is there anything else? I do have one personal thing because Supervisor Poofall was not able to attend last meeting, but I think this board owes Dick a big round of applause for all of his service so far. Thank you, Dick. Thank. Nothing else? Communications, none? Motion to adjourn. Motion by Blake to adjourn, second. Marty? All those in favor say aye.
Marty Vitek.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.